This is the Authentic Sex Podcast, real-life conversations about sex, pleasure and relationships. I'm your host, Juliet Allen. Welcome to this week's episode of the Authentic Sex Podcast. This week I have recorded a Q&A. I asked for your questions and there was so many interesting topics that came through. So it was such an honor to answer your questions. Today we talk about all sorts of things and I'm going to give you a little outline of what we spoke about so that you know what you're in for. So we spoke about being a unicorn, also known as the guest star, in a non-monogamous relationship and just navigating threesomes with friends. Can it work? A lot of people ask me this. Can it work to have a threesome with friends? I always talk about making love versus fucking, and this came up again in this Q&A. We spoke about how to deal with an insecure sexual partner who is less experienced than us. This comes up a lot for people. I spoke about navigating sex and relationships as a sex educator, dating apps and advice on finding people with the same intentions. You know, if you're single, that's a great one for you. How to relax during sex, age gaps in relationships, body hair. We spoke about the dark feminine, super interesting. Hands versus sex toys. Is there one that you prefer more? What's better? Ejaculation control / early ejaculation, you know, something that a lot of couples feel challenged by and men feel challenged by, also known as premature ejaculation. I addressed divorce, how to process divorce, navigating sex in that time, life post-divorce, mental health, lack of sex, what to do, and being with someone who isn't really interested as much in personal growth as you are, how to navigate that. So this one's big. There's a lot of different topics in here. As I said, I really enjoyed answering the questions and I hope that you enjoy this episode and take away something that supports you to truly enjoy your relationships, enjoy sex, enjoy self-pleasure, all the things that can be so much fun and bring so much joy to us in life. Enjoy. This episode of Authentic Sex is sponsored by the Juliet Pleasure Wand. The Juliet is a premium crystal pleasure wand designed to heighten your sexual energy, increase self-love and self-pleasure, expand your orgasmic experiences, and connect you to your true sexual essence. You can read more and purchase your own crystal wand by visiting my website, www.juliet-allen.com. So here we go, top of the list. The question is, I would love advice on being a unicorn, in brackets, a single woman open to being the guest star in an ethically non-monogamous relationship. The other day, my best friend asked me to have a threesome with her and her husband. A few months ago, when I told her I was asking for a divorce, we joked about having sex with her husband being my divorce present. Wow, cool. I need to practice dating and he needs a confidence boost as they enter this new journey for themselves. What a great combo, we said. It's been such a fantasy of mine and I think I'm all for it. She is an absolute goddess and he is one of the sexiest people I've ever met. Wow, what a combo. That's my opinion. She and I already started the boundaries and goals conversation, but I don't want my relationship with her to be ruined after this. As much as I want them both so badly, I know I want to be with them to explore my sexuality and to experience the true respect and safety with them to do so. I would love Juliet's advice on how to navigate this for the best outcome. All right. Exciting. What a combo, as you said. Look, here's my advice. You don't necessarily need to ruin a friendship for this to happen successfully. I do feel that in many cases, if we choose to have a threesome with our best friend and her husband, it doesn't mean the relationship goes to shit. It doesn't have to be a disaster. But, there is a but, as with any situation like this, especially with 3 people, and especially when there's a couple involved who are deeply in love and in a committed relationship, there is always the chance that things can go a little not to plan, let's say. So what I recommend is, firstly, congrats, because it sounds like you've started having really conscious conversations about, you said boundaries and goals. That's great, because you really need to discuss boundaries. You really need to discuss expectations. And you as the third party need to have, and it sounds like you do, the utmost respect for their relationship and their commitment to each other. And what that would look like for me is to completely 100% respect your best friend's boundaries. So if she says to you, I don't want you to suck my husband's dick, don't suck his dick, even if you're just getting carried away, unless things change, unless she says to you, actually, I feel like it now. And if she communicates that to you in the midst of the hotness and the sex session, I recommend double checking with her. Are you sure? Remember, this was one of your boundaries. Are you sure you are okay with this? And then check in with yourself. If she says yes, check in with yourself. Are you okay with this? So with threesomes and boundaries, you've always got to be, it's like you can't, in a way you can fully let go, but you do have to have some awareness around not breaking the boundaries. It may be worth starting out, if you're going to go ahead, by just saying, let's just have a night where clothes stay on and we just all kiss and touch, but clothes stay on. Now, that may be hard to stick to, especially if you say he's the sexiest man alive and she's a goddess. But yeah, it could be good to do baby steps for that one. The other thing is, remember that they may have, it may sound fun to her, and then when she sees you with her husband, it may be really triggering and confronting. So be prepared for it to all stop very quickly, and be prepared to be okay with that. And then, ask her, what are your expectations of this? Ask him, and reassure them that you really respect their relationship, and that, that is priority for you, that they feel respected and loved, and obviously that you feel respected and loved too, as the woman coming into this, as the unicorn, so to speak. I hope that helps. I wish you all the best, and please reach out and tell me how it went, because I would love to know. Next question is, as someone who is a sex educator or generally has more knowledge about sex than one's partner, how do you manage communication and power dynamics around your sexual relationship? As a sex educator myself, I love to talk about sex all the time, and I'm excited about anything sexually related. My partner is not as well versed as me and sometimes finds themselves insecure or exhausted by my chosen profession. Do you have any advice on how to manage this kind of relationship dynamic? Thank you. So just remember, your partner's insecurity and exhaustion by your chosen profession is not your issue. It is your issue because you're in a relationship with them, but it's for them to explore why they feel insecure and why they feel exhausted. And it's up to them to do their own inner work so that they can communicate to you why they feel that way, and they can work on it so that they can eventually not feel that way, basically, so that they can feel more comfortable with you as a sex educator. It's not your job to caretake your partner's emotions. It's their job. So you keep doing you. Don't dull your light. Don't stop wanting as much sex. Do not dim yourself down to make them feel more comfortable. You're probably not, but I'm just kind of saying that because it's easy to just take a step back and go, oh, I might have to be a little less sexual because they're not comfortable with it. But, you got to trust you're in their life for a reason. They've chosen you and they're attracted to you as a person, and they will learn so much from you as you will learn from them in other ways, and no doubt learn from them sexually eventually if you haven't already. You've asked how I manage communication and power dynamics around my sexual relationship. To be honest, I've always been with partners who are very confident, often been with men and women who are in the industry or who I've met at, for example, a workshop or a retreat or something. So I choose to be with people, or I chose in the past, I'm now in a monogamous relationship, but I've always had lovers and partners who are sexually confident, who don't feel threatened by my career choice, and who feel really inspired by it and who are open to learning from me as I am of them. So, that's my own personal journey with it. But it sounds like, this is, something that you can both grow from together. And I also recommend you just get some couples support, so a couples therapist or coach, that's what Nick and I do often, and my past partners have done. We have our therapist and we see her monthly, even when the relationship is feeling great. There's always something to work on, and this could be a topic that you guys could work on. So, I hope that helps. Next question. My question for you tonight is, in the past with partners before my current one, sex was very mechanical. No intimacy or passion or anything, but just the physical act itself. I guess you could say in the past I have really only fucked or been fucked rather than made love. But with my current partner, I want that love-making experience, as does she. The intimacy, the connection, the ability to make each other actually feel the love that the other has for her. I want to be present emotionally and mentally and connect with her in every way. What can we help to achieve this and build up what we need so that we can make love? Big question. It's kind of like the making love versus fucking. How do I explain that? It's making love is, for me, it's like getting lost in sex. So instead of it being mechanical, like you said, instead of it being like, oh, okay, I penetrate you or I lick you and then you come and then I come and then we go to sleep. It's like, how can we just be with what is? How can we be with each other in a deeper, more intimate way? And one doorway into that feeling of making love for myself is eye contact. So truly gazing into each other's eyes when you're making love, breathing together and noticing each other's heart, the space at the heart center of the body, the heart chakra. So that's located between your breasts, at your breastbone. So just feeling into that, and even just sitting together and eye gazing and breathing and feeling that energy move up from your pussy, up into your heart center and out across to your lover. And just sinking into each other's breath, like breathing together and just being. And like, there's nowhere you need to be. There's nothing you need to do. there's no goal. It's like, how can we drop everything? How can we let go of all the little voice in our head that's just going, am I doing it right? What's she thinking, etc. And just being. And then noticing what comes up. There may be sadness there may be anger, there may be grief, happiness, joy, all the things. But when we make love, it's not always pleasure-filled. It's like we're feeling everything, and we're sharing that with our beloved. And it's not about the goal of orgasm or the goal of getting somewhere. It's just about being. So see if you can drop into more presence and feel like the love between you two. Sounds like there's a lot of love there. I hope that helps. Thanks for your question. It's a really beautiful one. And, just keep practicing, and guaranteed something will shift. All right, next question. Dating apps. How to find men with similar intentions. Is it worthwhile scrolling through? Thoughts and tips about dating apps. All right, thanks for this one. So I love dating apps. Like when I was single, some of them are shit. Like some of them just attract in not the type of men that I'm looking for. But others, I've found some really amazing lovers through dating apps. So they're out there. You often have to sort through the weeds to find the beautiful flowers in amongst all the people, but you will find them. So how you find men with similar intentions is you state what you want in your profile. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a relationship and a committed relationship? Are you looking for monogamy? Are you looking for just a fuck? Are you looking for somebody who wants to explore tantra with you? Get really specific and then put it in your bio and be specific. Yes, it's worthwhile scrolling through. My rule used to be, if I don't have a full body yes though, then I don't say yes to them when I'm scrolling. So I was on Tinder lots back in the day. This was years ago, and I would not swipe. I think swipe left was no, swipe right was yes. So I would not swipe right and left unless I had a full body yes to them, and that was just my rule. Next question. Hello, dear Juliet. I can't seem to properly relax during sex. I think too much about it until nothing feels pleasurable anymore. What to do? It's a tricky one, isn't it, when we're thinking and we're just thinking. And what happens when we think too much is all of our energy is up in our head, literally up in our head. And we need our energy to be down in our sex center. So one way that I actively get out of my head when I feel like I'm in it during sex is to bring the focus back to my breath. It's like take a big deep breath in and breath out, and noticing my breath and becoming aware of my breath. And you can practice this during self-pleasure. So don't wait till the next time you have sex with someone else. Self-pleasure, and learn the art of dropping out of your head and into your body. What do you feel in your body? Like right now I can feel like a little bit of tightness in my chest. My shoulders feel tired and tight. So just noticing. You're not necessarily going, oh, my pussy's wet. Oh, my nipples are hard. It's like, it's not about that. It's like, what do you notice? What's the subtle energy in your body? Yeah. And remember, it's really important that you choose partners who you feel relaxed around. We cannot have relaxed sex if we're not with a partner who is relaxed. It's like if we're not with a partner who we can't just fully be ourselves with. Yeah, so like just noticing, who are you choosing to have sex with and what's their energy like? Okay, next question is, what do you think about age gap relationships? What would you say to someone in a relationship with a boyfriend who is 20 years older? How could I be the best in this relationship? Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough sex or life experience compared with the other person, but I think it is more about the confidence than an issue. Thanks. I'd love to hear your thoughts. In brackets, I am 32 years old and my partner is 52. I don't have a strong opinion, and I'm definitely not against age gap relationships at all. I mean, let's talk big age gap relationships, because I think smaller age gaps, there's just no issue at all. Big age gaps can present more challenges, but not always. And I don't think 32 and 52 is I think there's going to be less challenges there perhaps than if you were, say, 22 and 42. Reason being, when we go through our 20s, we go through a lot of exploration, we go through our Saturn return, we try new stuff. This is in general. But by the time we get to 32, we have a little more life experience and maturity up our sleeve. And I don't know your partner, but they could be at the same level of maturity as you, even if they're 20 years older. Oh my goodness, excuse my dog barking outside. Can you hear that? I'm sorry. So sometimes you say, I feel I don't have enough sex or life experience. Look, you got to trust your partner has chosen you because they're completely, totally attracted to you and in love with you, I'm assuming. And they love your youthfulness and they love that you have less experience than them, and that's okay. So they're going to learn so much from you as the younger person, and you're going to learn so much from them. So it sounds like, this is me being optimistic, but it's the perfect combo, and it's the perfect combo for you right now. So I'm all for it. Complete support. Go for it and see it as a beautiful journey that you can learn lots from. Okay. Next question. Why is it that with some men I get this uncontrollable euphoric energy to the point that my vagina comes a very hot temperature, wetness is overflowing, and many fantasies arise with only having their presence? Because that's being human. And I can't tell you exactly why, because I don't know what that man, what it is about that man that turns you on in that way, but it's a really positive thing. And this can just happen. It's like there's this magnetic energy between some people. And, I may feel it for one person, but you may not feel it for that same person. But then we all have this unique attraction to unique people, and this is the effect that it can have on us. And I don't have the answer to why it happens with some men in comparison to others, but it just does. And it's called sexual attraction, and it's amazing. And you just got to roll with it and enjoy it and have really amazing, great, pleasure-filled sex when you feel that way, if you feel like they're the right person to share that with. Okay, next question. This is an interesting one. How do you go about your body hair, Juliet? Has it represented conflict to you throughout your life? Have you taken it off? And if yes, why? I'm asking because since my first Venus Gillette, I was taking off my body hair with anything possible only so I wouldn't be perceived as abnormal by men and women. I've come to accept the hair on my body, and I mean my whole body, to the point where I don't touch it anymore. How has your journey been with that? Look, I love having no hair on my body. I'm going to be super honest. I've always shaved my legs. I've always waxed my pubes. I don't have hair under my arms, and I don't plan on having hair under my arms. I have nothing, absolutely nothing against women and men who have body hair. However, for me, I feel better in my body when I don't have body hair. And I've never overthought this decision. I've never overanalyzed it. It's never represented conflict to me at all. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's just been an easy journey. I personally really prefer women lovers without body hair. It just feels better for me, but that's just my personal preference. And I love men with body hair. So yeah, that's been my journey. Juliet, would you be able to make a podcast episode on the dark feminine, Kali? That's spelled Kali. If anyone's listening and they don't know who Kali is, they can Google her. I've been really feeling into this lately and would love to tap into that aspect of myself and femininity, the destruction as a counterpart to the creation. Look, I definitely have tapped into Kali's energy over the years, especially during a really hard breakup a few years ago. I used to sing Kali mantras, listen to them, sing them. I had Kali on my altar. I read books about Kali, and it really helped me destroy a relationship that no longer served me and move on. So that's been my journey with it. And I will keep my eye out for somebody who can speak in a deeper way about the dark feminine, Kali. And yeah, if I find somebody, then I will, I'll record an episode with them. No promises, but I'll keep my ears out. Next question is, hi Juliet, I'm loving the Q&As. Yay, I'm glad you're loving the Q&As. I would like to explore and get to know my yoni, but at the moment I don't feel like lingering there too long. I prefer using your pleasure wands when I self-pleasure. What would you recommend to get comfortable with having my own fingers in my vagina? Great question. I love that you're loving the pleasure ones. And I also hear, though, that you would love to just use your fingers and get comfortable with that. And that's really cool that you want to do that. And I think that's really necessary too. So take the wand away and explore with your fingers. Maybe say, for a month or a week or however long, 2 weeks, I'm not going to use my pleasure wand. I'm going to put her somewhere safe, or I'm going to put her out in the sun or under the moonlight. And I'm going to commit to exploring more with my hands. Sorry, my voice is disappearing. And see how it feels and notice what it brings up in you. Some of us have never touched our pussy with our bare hands. We've used vibrators, dildos, pleasure wands, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you do have the desire to explore, then practice makes perfect. And the only way you're going to feel more comfortable with having your fingers in your vagina is to go there. So that's my advice. Go there, practice, take time. Don't judge yourself, or try not to judge yourself and your body. Every vagina is different. We all feel different. We look different. We're all perfect in our own unique way. The next question is, hi Juliet, I have a little question concerning lack of sex. I've been single for a while and casually enjoying sex only when I feel really strong attraction and connection to a man. Now, firstly, bloody great, good on you. I'm really, really happy for you. The good thing is that checking in with my centers leads me to having really good sex, but in reality, I only have this connection with very few men, which means I don't end up having sex as much as I'd like. Any tips on how to handle this frustration? Look, I just salute you. You're checking in with your centers. That's epic. If you're listening and you don't know how to check in with your centers, I have a meditation in pleasure school and a whole lesson on this approach to making choices about lovers and life. So let's go back to it. Any tips on how to handle this frustration? My top tip is be your own lover. Just fill yourself up, fill your cup up by yourself. The more that you overflow with love for yourself and pleasure yourself, and your cup is full, the more and more you're going to attract in men who also will match that energy and bring that energy into your life and your relationship. So, that's how I would deal with the frustration. And then I'd write a big long list of how to, manifesting your ideal lover. So what do they look and feel like? What's their, what do they do for work? What's their relationship like with their family? What do their genitals feel like? What, their body shape, all the little things that are important to you. Write it down and notice then who you're attracting into your life. It's a really powerful exercise to do that. Every time I've done that, I have attracted in exactly what's on the list eventually. Not straight away. In fact, Nick was straight away, but yeah, often very quickly. Next question is, I have a two-part question. The first part is being with a man who hasn't done and isn't really interested in doing the work, quote unquote. No self-exploration, working with teachers, reading books, finding mentors. I don't want to push anything, but it's becoming harder to have more serious conversations when he isn't moving forward energetically on certain issues. I guess the second part of the question is how to meet men who are a little more interested in evolving to a point, not trying to call in someone who takes themselves seriously, meditates 10 hours a day and doesn't shower. So if you're with a man who you don't feel can meet you spiritually and emotionally or in all the areas of what you need to feel met, then it's up to you to choose, is this the right relationship for me? I think you know already that you can't force your lover to be a certain way or to want to learn certain things or explore certain things. It's a choice they have to make that comes from their heart, and we just can't change. A leopard doesn't change his spots. Maybe he does. But if you're choosing to be with him in this moment, you need to choose to be with him in this moment just the way he is and not want to change him. Do not fall in love with the dream of who, I'm saying him, but, you did say a man. So you don't want to fall in love with somebody, the dream of what this man could be or who he could turn into. You need to fall in love with who he is now. Possibly he will change. Possibly he will want to, quote unquote, do the work eventually, but right now he doesn't. So it's up to you to choose whether you want to continue. How do you meet men who are a little more interested in evolving? Look, just keep evolving yourself, and then you're going to attract in people who are on the same level as you, who are vibrating at the same frequency. So you do you, and you will meet those people. I promise. Next question. We're getting through them. When I met my man, he was not an expert in sex, or he didn't have any kind of alpha energy that brought sex as priority. Our connection happened by amazing feeling of home, trust, and beautiful communication. It feels like we can speak about everything forever, and I love it so much. I don't think I've ever met someone with such a feeling of connection. And in the same time, when time comes to bed, we have amazing prelude, but his ability to not ejaculate in 2 minutes is so small. I'm slowing down and control my movement. For now, we don't have any progress. So what would you recommend to have longer duration of penetrated process? So for some men, it is more challenging to last longer, I would say, to not ejaculate in a small amount of time, and that's okay. This is a very common challenge for men. Often the more anxious they feel about it, the worse it becomes more and more challenging. They come even quicker. It's great that you're slowing down your movement. I would recommend, now this is only if he's open to it, but he needs to, this is for him to learn. and he needs to learn how to have more control over his ejaculation. But you can't, like, if you're slowing down, if you're breathing, you know, if you're really supportive of him not ejaculating, and you're aware of the energy in your body that can potentially pull that ejaculate out of his body, which is what women can do, is like the energy just is so strong that the man just ejaculates because it's just like, whew, he wants to explode inside her or on her or whatever in the condom. But it's up to him to do the work on this. It's his body, and he needs to be interested in learning to do some breath work, practicing when he masturbates or self-pleasures. He could do a session with my partner, Nick. Nick is really amazing at this stuff and helps a lot of men with challenges that they have in this area. So, yeah, there's only so much that you can do as a lover, and it's up to him to want to work on this part of himself. 2 more questions. Wow, we did it. Hi, Juliet. Love everything you put into the world. Thank you. And I just want to say it is my pleasure and an honour. My question is on Tantra. I so want to learn more and more about it, but don't know where to begin. Are there any particular books or in-person courses you'd recommend? Would travel? ! I've come across a lot of offerings in the UK which feel inauthentic, and I'm struggling to know where to start. My partner is interested too. Any advice, as always, received with much gratitude. So I do have a couple of, I think they're podcast episodes, but you can also look on my journal, which is at juliet-allen.com, so my website, where I speak about resources to learn more about Tantra. So I really recommend that you go and listen to those, because there's like a big list of books that, yeah, go do that. If I can find those resources, I'll pop them in the notes below this recording. There are a lot of courses out there, and it's good that you're feeling into whether they feel authentic or not. Some are not, so don't go to them. Just like any kind of industry, there's always going to be some dodgy things out there, and then there's going to be some really authentic ones. One of my mentors is Elaine Young. She's in the UK. Google her, Elaine Young. I think she's called the Tantric Shaman or something. She's amazing. I will also put a link to her website if I can find it. She's in London. She travels lots. Then there's the International School of Temple Arts that has a training that I recommend. It's also known as ISTA. I highly recommend their courses. I have done them, I've worked on them, and I have a lot of respect for the edginess of their teachings, and amazing. I've got a lot out of it, a lot. Next question is, as a semi-early postpartum mama, I'm so surprised how sexy I feel. Yay! I love my full curves, my soft and supple belly, and the way my hands and my children sink into it. I feel so full of life and creativity. So why isn't this sexy energy translating over to my relationship with hubs? I love how you call him hubs. Look, when we're early in postpartum, we are giving so much energy to our child, our newborn child, and also our other children if this is not our first. And it can often feel when we're breastfeeding. So 2 things. Lots of just output of energy, especially after birth. And then when we're breastfeeding, it changes the hormone levels in our body. It changes everything. And it can mean a lower libido, not for every woman, but it can for lots. So it's okay to feel this way. It's very, very normal. Like, I've felt this way for months. It's very normal. it will change. Like your libido will come back. Your desire for your husband will come back. Right now, though, you're in a season in your life where you are giving everything to your child or your children. And that's okay. It's okay. And, I don't have all the data on your relationship, so there could be other things that I would need to hear to factor in why you're feeling this way. But I just want to assure you that it's normal. And we've all been through it as mothers. No doubt other mothers are putting their hands up. I have, and it's okay. Best advice for postpartum pelvic floor rehab. Look, I don't have advice. Like, it's not my area of expertise. You could go to a physio who specializes in like postpartum health for women. But to be honest, like, it isn't an area that I've really explored. It's not an area that I have challenge in, to be honest. I've had 2 babies and my pelvic floor is quite strong. I think that's because I've done a lot of yoga and Pilates and then like a lot of orgasms. But who knows? Like, yeah, so I can't help you on that one. I'm sorry. Last question is, this is a big one. Okay, I'm just going to have to Google something on the spot. Let's go back to it. I wanted to ask your opinion on SSRIs. I understand you're not a doctor and I'm not asking about their effectiveness or for medical advice. So just letting you know, guys who are listening, people who are listening, SSRIs are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Now, I didn't know what they are, so I just Googled that. I'm pretty sure they're for depression. Let's go back. But that's like this person said, I'm not a doctor. I got the prescription while at my physical in October. Soon after asking my husband for a divorce, both my therapist and our previous couples therapist agreed it was something that could help me through this. I only started taking it a few weeks ago because it took me a while to accept I needed to. While I fully support people who need to take them, I struggle with giving myself that same grace. I feel like I should be leaning into this pain, learning, growing, and healing from it. I'm afraid that I'm running from that by taking these. I want to feel these feelings, and I've made that clear to my doctor and my therapist regarding the dosage. I don't want to be a zombie. I'm in therapy once a week. I've started re-establishing a healthier relationship with food and moving my body. I'm working on a healthier nighttime routine and more conscious of my breathing. I'm honest about my hard days and lean into the good ones. I cry whenever I need to, and I'm careful not to push things down. But this is all so much harder than I thought. I was kidding myself before. Now, though, I'm struggling to not feel like I've given up or given in by taking this medication. After proofreading this, I guess what I'm asking is, am I processing all this correctly? Which just seems like a silly question. I feel like I need to get an A+ in divorce, so that's something to unpack next week with my therapist, lol. Oh, darling. Sending you love, firstly. It's so good to hear from you. I know what you've been through. You know, you and I have been on a bit of a journey with you sharing this with me and me supporting you, and so I'm here for you. Like you said, I'm not a doctor. And so I don't understand the effect SSRIs have on the body, and I'm not going to pretend I do. However, I do hear what you're saying, and that you don't want to be a zombie, and that you want to fully lean into this pain. Now, you yourself, you are the expert of your own body in the end. This is my opinion. So you've got to feel into how you're feeling on these drugs. Are they making a huge difference? Are they not? What side effects are you having? You know, I can't advise you on whether or not to be on them. It's completely up to you. You need to trust in what feels right for you and know that you are the master of your own body, nobody else. So I don't care how many medical professionals tell you that you should be on it. It's like, it's up to you. It sounds like you're doing all the right things, like you're in therapy, you're, conscious of what you're eating, you're moving, you're conscious of your breathing, like you're doing so well. You need to give yourself a break. You don't need an A+ in divorce. No one's got an A+ in divorce. Like what even does an A+ look like, I think an A+ is someone who just fully goes into the pain, like you said, and like does whatever they need to do to get through it, because it can be really fucking tough, can't it? Like I get it. I've been there, I get it. I haven't been divorced, but I've been through really fucked up breakups. I'm so glad you're getting therapy. That's really important. And that's what has helped me get through things like this. Breakups, to be exact. You just got to accept this is where you're at right now, and it's so okay. Like it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad one day and fucking happy the next. Like all these things are okay. We all have our own unique journey with tough times in life, and this is yours. So I just want you to know you're doing amazing. You've asked my opinion on SSRIs. Like I personally would steer clear of them. However, I'm not in your shoes and I'm not feeling the way you're feeling. So I haven't been in this. You know what? Actually, I'm going to share. Once in my life, I felt really depressed. Like I couldn't get out of bed for months. Like I got out of bed, but every morning was a struggle. And my loved ones wanted me to go on antidepressants, which I think is what SSRIs are, but as I say, I don't know. And I didn't. I didn't want to, and I resisted it. But what I did do was I went to a really great natural doctor. So she was a doctor, but she believed in like managing things as naturally as possible. And she gave me this natural, I had to get a chemist to mix it up, but it was like a natural supplement. I forget what it was. That was like the natural, I keep saying natural lots, the natural alternative to antidepressants. No joke, it made such a difference within days. So that was my experience. I also used to take St. John's wort. Just remember, I'm not an expert in this. I'm not a naturopath, nothing. Go seek some support from a naturopath or a natural doctor, but that really helped too. So that's my experience, my opinion. I love you. You're amazing. Keep doing what you're doing, and drop me a line. Tell me how you're going.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Authentic Sex Podcast. If you love the show, please hit follow wherever you are listening and leave me a review. And if you really, really, really loved it, please share the podcast with your friends, family, and social media followers. Doing this together as a community, we can make an impact and support the world to feel more sexually empowered and free, and just get the word out about these free resources. If you'd like to join me for daily updates and inspiration, you can find me on Instagram, which is at Juliet, Juliet _Allen, Allen. And you can also head on over to my website to join any of my offerings, Pleasure School, the Intimacy Blueprint, and you can also treat yourself to the Juliet Pleasure Wand at www.juliet, Juliet, -Allen, ALLEN.com.